Hey guys, it's March 18th, 2018. As you can see, it's a really nice day here in Seattle. Let's see how the garden is doing. Let's start on the left side with the crocus. You can see they're coming up now. The sprouting is speeding up. You can see there's a lot of sprouts over here too. And then the dahlia I planted last week still looks pretty much the same, but I'm expecting the sprouts to come up pretty soon. The hydrangea looking good. A lot of new buds, as well as this one needs some water, but you can see the sprouts from the base. It's kind of coming from the older branches. And then we have the hyacinth. You can see there's not much flowers this year. I mean, there's a lot of hyacinth, but each one there isn't a lot of flowers. And then the grape hyacinth, you can see we have a lot of them. It's very green, but I don't see any flowers yet. And then the blueberry, just gonna give you a kind of a close-up of what the flower's gonna look like. Yeah, those are flowers. It's gonna flower pretty soon, I think. Strawberries, looks like it's starting to grow. You can kind of see some new leaves coming up right there. And this pot has not as much soil as the other one, so I'm gonna add some new soil to this one. And you can see some other ones coming up from there. And then right here we have the asparagus. I dig into it to look whether it's still alive. Obviously it's still alive because it's pretty hard to the touch. The roots are pretty hard to the touch, and I don't see anything in the other direction. It's only in this direction. So yeah. And then I also remind myself to split the asparagus in the fall. And in this pot I planted 1 carrot, a few potatoes from last week, and then I also planted some beets from seeds. Let me try to find one so you can see. Right here you can kind of see the red thing. Those are the beets roots. And then here we have the catnips. As you can see, they have started to grow as well. So yeah, a lot of growth around the garden. And then the snowdrops. The leaves are getting pretty big, kind of covering up all the flowers. You can see these 2 flowers are pretty much spent. And the the fruit is getting bigger, like at the base of the flower. And here are some new flowers. Still looks pretty nice. And here I don't see any flowers from the other varieties yet. Hopefully we can see some flowers, but maybe there's no flowers. Let's look at the rhubarb. The leaves are kind of sad for some reason. I think I might need to actually like split them, like divide each rhubarb plants to individual pots. And then the calla lilies I planted last week. The sprouts were already there when I planted them, and they just kind of turned a little red-ish under the sun, I think. And then some other wildflowers. Here's the crimson clover. You can see they're still here, pretty healthy and flowering. And I also spread some lacy facilia seeds in this pot. So hopefully we can attract some bees with this wildflower pot. And I think it's the same for these strawberries. You can see the new growth over there. The new leaves are coming up. Daffodils needs to be watered, but you can see the flower buds coming up. A lot of them. So yeah, we're probably gonna get a lot of daffodil flowers. And then the blueberry, I'll give you another close-up. These are the flowers that's gonna open pretty soon. Raspberry, just gonna show you the new growth. Right here you can see that older branch is sending out some pretty growth, and at the base, and then the older branches over there are sending out new branches as well, like this one, and then a few other ones over on this branch, and then on those branches you can see the sides with the buds. And then the saffron, I don't know, it's not really growing. I'm a little concerned. Artichoke need to be watered, but you can see the leaves are coming up, a lot of new leaves. Hopefully we can get like at least one artichoke this year. And here we have the summer snowflake. These needs to be watered too. But yeah, right here and then right there, summer snowflakes, and then this one over here. And then this guy over here. You can kind of see the flowers from here in the center-ish. Need to water those. And then this guy, hopefully it's gonna start growing soon, because I mean it's still alive. You can kind of see at the center there's some new growth coming up. And then this tulip over here, still growing. I don't see any flowers yet. And then this tulip, don't see any flowers yet, but the leaves are pretty nice. I like the color. And these ivies are still growing slowly. And lily of the valley, you can see they're coming up very nicely. The flowers are gonna be here, here, and here. So there's gonna be probably 3 white flowers, like 3 white group of flowers, and then the pink ones, probably a few. Looking good. And then the peonies, you can see the leaves are opening up now, getting bigger, and then there's a few more buds coming up. Venus flytrap, feel like it's gonna send up some new leaves, hopefully. And then this grape hyacinth, you can see it's doing pretty well too. And then a new bud over there. And then this guy, you can see a lot of little green sprouts all over the pot. Lily, it's coming up. And then my precious hydrangea, doing good. And California poppy, it's growing faster now. And then the lavender, you can see a lot of new growth at the base. So I think today it would be a good time to kind of trim it or prune it. Rosemary, not really sure what it's doing. Some parts is kind of dying, like these. It's kind of turning brown, but then there's also parts where the leaves are still growing, so I'm not really sure what to do with it. As for the indoor garden, you can see this guy, it's doing very well. Gonna water all of the indoor plants today as well. Snake plants, this one is still growing. Hopefully it's gonna send out more plants like this guy over here. Looks better. And then this guy over here is doing well too. And This needs to be watered. As you can see, the leaves are kind of droopy. And then the orchids, they're all doing very well. This leaf is big, so that's good. I think we're probably gonna get a flower from this guy. And then this one, it's doing well too. There's 2 sites of growth. This one is doing well. This one too. Let me try to find that new growth I found last week. Right there. You can kind of see the little green thing over there at the center. Let's look at the fern. Yeah, as expected. Nothing is really changing, so it's probably gonna die. And then let's look at this orchid over here. It's doing well. Give you a closer look of the new growth. String of pearl is still here. Pretty surprising. And then this tree is doing well. Probably gonna move it outdoor pretty soon. Other orchids, this guy over here, it's still struggling. So I'm gonna help it by move it out of the film. Now it's free. Yeah, they're all doing pretty good, I think. No sprout yet from this guy. And then you can see this new growth is getting a lot bigger, which is awesome. And then this Stockholm fern is doing well, even though the other part is cut off. Snake plant's doing good. And then this stone pine, it's doing good. It's lots of new growth, and on the top you can see kind of a dead part, but a new part is kind of taking over that. These succulents are all doing well. The baby plant is coming up. And the spider plant, it's looking very healthy. This fern's doing well. Stockholm fern, it's doing well too. This guy is doing well too. I don't know, this guy is kind of weird. It's like kind of dying but growing at the same time. And then this Hoya plant, let me try to find a new growth. Hopefully there's some new growth. Found it right here. You can see a new growth coming up. I don't know. New growth always like come up and then like die, so I'm not really confident of that. And then the prayer plants, I found this new growth right here on top. You can see this spike over here. This is a new plant, so that's good. We will have more prayer plants.